Hello, if you read the title and think I'm going to make a multiplayer game, you are very wrong. I'm not going to do all that. I have a lot. You might be wondering, problem, what is it? Tell me so I can complain about big game companies for the fourth time this week. Now, it's not what you think. The problem I'm talking about is this. Yeah, let me explain. In FPS games, you can look up, down, left, right. All that ability to get a 0.4 KD ratio in the end. But from other players' perspectives, if you look down, for them, it'll probably look something like this. You see the problem? This and this are completely different actions. From others' perspectives, you're rotating from your hips. But from your perspective, you're doing this. Now, unless you got some pretty impressive calisthenic capabilities, you're probably not going to be able to pull off this move. How do we fix this problem? Well, just use one animation for the player and another animation for other players looking at him so it looks normal from their— You fool! This is the mindset of the weak! From the start, this was never a problem. It was a sign, telling us of the pathetic limits of the human flesh. So I used this knowledge and made 4 better character designs that don't have this problem. First we got Rover. This design uses a hover disc in order to float and rotate at will. The magnet which you use to float is placed at the head, so you're gonna need a stronger neck than a Formula 1 driver to use this. Rover has a one-use grappling hook, and I will explain why later. The hover disc floats at a fixed distance from the ground, so you will not take fall damage. However, you will also not be able to jump since you don't have legs. What you can do is look down and why is it stretching like this? Anyway, you can look down and shoot your own hover disc in order to get shot up in the air, but without your disc you will be able to take fall damage, which is when the grappling hook comes to use, as it can be used to grapple somewhere and avoid falling to your death. Without the hover disc, Rover will have to crawl from this point on. This character works well with Battle Royale, since you can use the lack of a hover disc as a knockdown state. Enemies can and will shoot your hover disc, but it has its own HP as well. Here are the stats. Second, we got Gunta. It brings you death in the form of frag grenades as presents. Gunta consists of 2 entities. First, there are the legs. Then there is the capsule containing the fish with buff arms. The capsule can be used as a storage space, so Gunta has a high amount of grenades. Since the legs and the fish are separate, this comes with a few benefits. If the fish dies, the legs can go back to spawn and get a new fish to continue the fight. If the legs die, the fish can roll back to spawn and get new legs. And yes, it can still shoot in this state, but it can't aim. If a player lost his fish and another lost his legs, they can combine together so one can do the movement and one can do the shooting. Since the fish doesn't have to deal with the movement, it can focus on the shooting alone, which gives it a little bit of aim assist. Now for the cons. The fish has a very limited field of view because of the capsule blocking it. While rolling, your grenades have a very chance of falling off, so anyone can pick them up. The fish has low HP if shot on directly. You are very weak if you lose one of the 2 entities. Here are the stats. The third character is Armor. Like the name suggests, it lacks a pair of arms. Armor is a robot to choose from its eyes, so it tackles another problem with FPS games where your gun and crosshair don't align. Armor uses wheels instead of legs, so it can't jump nor go upstairs. However, it got some really powerful motors, so it can carry a significant amount of ammo that is pretty much infinite, and other players can come up to it and refill their ammo. And this includes enemy players as well. Since it packs a lot of firepower, Armor has a special self-detonation ability. Upon activation, Armor ejects its head up into the air. After that, its body explodes, killing anyone close to it. And in the air, the head scans the area, marking nearby enemy locations. However, since this ability is pretty heavy on the military budget, you need a detonation permit to activate it. Every time you get 5 kills on your kill streak, you acquire a detonation permit. And upon detonation, if the number of enemy players you killed is greater than friendly players, detonation will not count as a death for you. Since Armor has very limited mobility, it has increased health. Here are the stats. Last up we got Soul. Soul is basically just a floating ball that uses magic instead of guns. It has very low HP, but it can possess dead bodies and use them with 80 HP. When the possessed body is killed, Soul doesn't die. You have to kill Soul in its ball form in order for it to really die. Possession takes 2 seconds to do, so this can't be abused mid-fight. Soul has a very high jump, so it can easily go above buildings. However, Soul must possess a body to stay in the overworld. If Soul hasn't possessed a body in the past 30 seconds, it loses its form and disappears. Here are the stats.